We're back with Ethan Forman of the Gloucester Times once again to talk all things Gloucester right now. And as usual, he is underwater with work, and we appreciate his time with us. How you doing, Ethan?
I'm underwater with work.
Yeah, as usual. So, all right. Another person underwater with work is Mayor Greg Verga, right? He just completed his first 100 days in office. We saw the piece. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, I sat down with him last week. I was struck by his statement in his inaugural about getting up every day and wanting to improve the city and make it a little bit better every day. And that's a pretty lofty goal because we all get out of bed and, we're just getting through work, So he talked about that a little bit, talked about how he does it by listening. He says, listening to that feedback. So he's somebody who's taking a lot of feedback and describing himself as not as, this wasn't in the piece, but he said he doesn't want people who are just going to be yes people. So he's seems like somebody, a mayor who's open to that kind of feedback, criticism, and he talked about coming in and wanting to fulfill his campaign promises. And so they have it seems like he's kind of got a mindset of deal with the day-to-day crises and then don't lose focus on the big picture, on the big prize, which is trying to improve Gloucester.
Right.
So it's only been like 100 days is going to be on April 10, I believe. That's what he told me. I didn't count it up on the calendar. I trusted him. And so it's got, it's 3 months. It's like a blink of an eye. We were just I feel like it was just at the inaugural yesterday.
Yeah.
And so the piece really sort of talks about more about him rounding out his staff. He's finally hired his director of communications and constituent services, Pam Toby. I met Pam. She was a co-chair of the Community Preservation Committee. Worked up in the treasurer's office, and the daughter of Bruce Toby, the former mayor. So somebody who knows the city pretty well. And so she's just come in. And then Melissa Gillis is his executive secretary. And then we all know Jill Cahill, who's been community director for 5 years. So the piece is kind of just looking at that. We did do a piece earlier from that interview earlier in the week. I don't know if you saw it. It was in the paper yesterday about the MBTA communities and his reaction. I kind of broke that out a little bit because it was a little more substantial, and he doesn't like the one size fits all solution of these MBTA guidelines. I mean, I don't know how you're going to zone for 2,207 or 70 units in the downtown, but if you can tell me how to do that, yeah.
Right. And I like, Ethan, how in the article you made a point to clarify that people are getting confused with all the zoning talk lately. This is this is a separate issue from the zoning and the height structures and everything like that going on downtown and essentially throughout the city. Yeah.
And that process is kind of sort of bifurcated because the City Council Planning and Development Committee decided to take the amendments that the planning board had and kind of split them off, which they split them off as logically. I want to discuss one part of town and with the other part of town, basically. And the planning board had just been going by how to fix the zoning table. So this process now has gone off. They're going to talk about single family conversions. That meeting has been delayed at the next council meeting. And then the planning and development, which has also been delayed because of a scheduling conflict with the planning director. And they're going to be the big one for a lot of people, I think, is the allowing a 3-family by right in the downtown high density district. I think the big one, and height.
But that's all totally separate from the MBTA overlay, which is
all of this is separate from the MBTA overlay.
Yeah.
But it happened to happen at the same time.
Right.
A lot of confusion. People are putting them two together. They're not together. It's a totally separate process. The MBTA process, the guidelines are being driven by the state, a state law that passed in January 2021, which we weren't keeping an eye out for.
And I know we're supposed to be talking about the mayor, but I just want to stick one little point in here. And because as I understand it, the city council is now tasked with trying to figure out what how the requirements of this MBT overlay will intersect with the zoning work that they're doing right now. And
what they really did is they said, we have these zoning amendments on height and 3-family. Let's put them on pause to see what the guidelines might tell us.
in the MBTA guidelines.
Yeah, because
right.
no, I think they're gonna, I don't know, they have to continue with the process. It's
Right.
public hearings. There's already part of these zoning amendments are already in a public hearing. There are time frames. You have to advertise the public hearing, and so that seems to be moving on. So the zoning process for the city is bifurcated. It's gone on to 2 different tracks with different amendments, and at the same time, this NBTA guidelines is going. But it's I think it boils down to is very simple. People feel the city is overdeveloped as it is. They don't want higher, taller developments blocking views. I mean, this has been reiterated by the Ward 2 councilor. People get into, arguments over parking and, other things already in the downtown. It's already the downtown, you could say, is already what the MBTA wants. A lot of family housing, it's private rentals, but a lot of housing downtown around the station. So,
yep.
Right. I want to put in
I know
one
that
more
got off the mayor's 100 days.
I know. I want to return to the mayor just for a second and say that there was a really nice article featuring 3 brand new mayors, and our Mayor Verga was one of them, in the State House News Service. And they interviewed each mayor and asked what their challenges were and how it was going and what it was like being a mayor for the first time. It was good. So he got some creds there.
Yeah, and I think he had when I spoke to him originally, a few weeks after he'd been in office, he said, there's no guidebook to be a mayor.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he was kind of saying, when people are calling me mayor, he would kind of like, it was like, what? You're a city council, you're a volunteer, you go to the meetings, but he's running the city. And there's no book, there's no guide how to be mayor, so, we'll see. It's only 3 months, 100 days. I'm not gonna say the jury's out because I'm not judging him.
Well, he's got 2 snowstorms under his belt, and that teaches him a lot, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not really hearing any complaints. It seems like the city's just being run.
Yep.
Maybe the best mayors are the ones you don't know. I don't know. That's everything's getting just good. So who knows?
Cool. All right. Thanks for that, Ethan. Another story you worked on was a signature tree at Sawyer Free Library is in trouble.
Yeah, we got a press release from the board trustees from the library. The tree's got to go. It's got a fungal disease, and it's a 100-year-old beech tree. And I understand the connection to it. People have seen that tree all their lives, and it's a beautiful tree. But it's diseased, and it could come down. And it's not like the library wasn't trying to save it. So since 2016, the library has spent about $9,000, and it's consulted with 3 arborists, get opinions of 3 arborists. And the opinion is that it could fail. It's rotted, a fungal disease. They tried treating it. It's a very sentimental thing for a lot of people. I was just at the library, and somebody had left a bunch of tulips thanking this American beech for a century of standing tall in Gloucester. So it'll be a sad thing to go, but I think the plan is to plant another tree.
We need to get an elm there. We need to get the elm guy, right?
Yeah. The thing is, the library is probably going to go undergo a renovation. That project is in the works. So there's going to be a lot of changes at the library anyway. So, stay tuned for that. But it's coming down tomorrow, if weather permitting. We'll be there, and the mark vacation. It's historic. It's been there for a century. So,
was it planted for any particular reason? Do we know, Ethan?
I don't. There was a plaque.
Oh,
There's a plaque in the tree, which I didn't know when I read the story. The plaque says, ongoing care and feeding of this beech tree is given in memory of Adele Quincy Irvin. So somebody had given some money to care for the tree. Somebody fought for that, but I don't know the exact extent of this beech tree. It's a big beech tree in Peabody. I used to cover the city of Peabody at the old Betancourt building right on Main Street, which is a fixture. And their developers finally bought the old Betancourt building there and is going to fix that up. That beech tree is 4 times as big as this one, if you can believe that.
Wow.
wow. What's it got that our beech tree doesn't have, I wonder?
Doesn't have fungus.
Disease. Yeah.
But no, I wish the library well. And you know what? I think I want to give credit to the library. They got out ahead of it. They could have just taken it down. People would have, said, hey, what's going on? So, so kudos to the library for getting out ahead of it.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be a decent sized crowd there tomorrow, weather permitting, to watch that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that. There's also, Ethan, an ongoing campaign right now, led by a committee, including students, to name the consolidated elementary school.
Yeah. I mean, the school committee and the school department have really, it's Gloucester, right? I can say, cast a wide net to try to get a new name for the school. And so they're soliciting input from residents and the community. They're putting up flyers. They've got an online website if you want to submit your name. And then I think that's great. It's public participation at its best. Let's see if the public participates. So Corey, I think you have the links. You can put those up.
Yep, we'll have those there.
The Sawyer Free Library will have a box. I'm not sure City Hall. But I think nowadays people will be able to find a way to submit their nominations. Let's see what people come up with. But you know what? The name, it can't be named after anybody. School committee's already decided that. But also, let's see if there's someone can come up with a name that combines the two schools, the spirits of the two schools, without just saying East Gloucester Veterans Memorial School. That's easy. And maybe a lot of people like that, So we're going to come up with 10 nominations, then 4 finalists for the school committee, and we'll see where it goes. And it's students. The kids are doing this.
Yeah, that's cool.
Are 3rd graders, 4th graders, 5th graders at both schools, and alumni at O'Malley and Gloucester High. Our students are doing this. So it's, kudos to the school department for including the kids.
Yeah. And I know one of those links is the Gill Netter, which is the Gloucester High School student newspaper. And those kids do a great job covering stories. So check that out if you can.
Yeah, those kids are journalists, that's for sure.
Yeah. Right.
I know we had some really bad ideas, so we're not even going to go there again.
You can't name it after yourself, Heather. We've told you this. No people this time.
We'll see what they come up. Maybe research the sites. See if they can find a way to bring those two school cultures and communities together in a name. That's a challenge, but we'll see.
Cool. Yeah. And that runs for the month of April. So get in while you can, folks, with your opinions. Ethan, we're going to let you go because we know you're starting to track a story. There's a slight COVID uptick now. You're following this story.
Board of Health is meeting tonight, and it's on the agenda. The BioBot numbers, the wastewater, they sample the wastewater, and they're starting to tick up. Cases kind of starting to tick up, but I'm hoping that so many people are vaccinated, so many people have had it, that we're not going to see hospitalizations, and we're not going to see deaths. Right. And that's the key. That's really what the Board of Health is looking at. I don't believe me. I mean, I'm predicting that they're probably not going to put a mask mandate in, but I think it's worth to discuss this new variant, and we'll see what the Board of Health has to say. We'll try to report on it for tomorrow's paper.
Gotcha.
Great.
Friday.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. We'll make sure to catch up with you next week, Ethan. By the way, you also won word of the day with bifurcated. So bye for now.
Yeah. All right. That was good. Yeah. Excellent. Name a school after that word.
The bifurcation school.
Right.
Take care, Ethan. Thank you.
Bye.
Interested in a sponsorship? Email sponsor@1623studios.org to learn more.